CG after they broke the entire fleet meta and removed an assault battle in the same week. We did it, Patrick! We saved the city! Oh, but it gets better. How CG be feeling removing an assault battle for no reason? We got a lot of fun little doozies to talk about today. Hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend wherever you may be. I'm happy you're able to stop by the biggest and deadliest starter store, hanging out. Yours truly, the King of Triple B. Guys, get the mobile game of the King and Triple B at many other fancy titles. All right, people, we got to talk about two things that are on our minds. And one of them is really irritating me, the other one's concerning me, and I'm hoping it's just a concern that will be alleviated. But both of these issues, if you put them together, the core concept of the issue is communication would be great, people. So we're going to be talking about, first and foremost, in case you missed it, well, people are worried that assault battles are being replaced. Now that we're getting new ones, let's just say a lot of keen eyes out there were quick to point out, and they're like, we're missing out on a Forest Moon assault battle. And, you know, people start putting the pressure on. Hey, CG, where's it at? And of course, you know, we don't get it through the forum posts, you know, where the official stuff should be. It's an SWH events where the community manager, Meathead Militia, said Forest Moon was replaced by another assault battle for November. And you could see how people are getting frustrated. I want my assault battle back, and rightfully so. Especially the old assault battles. Don't get me wrong, the new ones are good from a reward standpoint, but man, they're not really accessible for new people coming to the game, even mid-game players, dare I say. It's very much so a very more end-game reward type of assault battle. But there are things to strive to, like Duel of the Fates. You know, my free-to-play didn't have Master Qui-Gon Pattern 01, but I was able to get them up pretty quickly because they're pretty easy to farm for the most part, and I was able to partake in those rewards. Cool. But the issue that we're having is, oh, wait. You're adding these new assault battles, but you're replacing old ones? And especially things like, you know, Forest Moon, or we just had a Military Might the other day. I mean, we have other assault battles that are still on the radar, which this is why this is categorized in just the light concern section, because, you know, as you see, we have another assault battle for Rebel Roundup, an older one, that's coming around the corner. But the concern is there's really not like efficient communication saying, are we replacing Forest Moon permanently, or is it just for the month of November? And then furthermore, does that mean events that were, you know, pretty routine to come, are they changing the schedule on us? I'm hoping it's pretty much at least the latter, where they're not permanently replacing it. They might be readjusting the schedule, because if they're going to permanently replace these, I mean, for someone like me, yeah, maybe not too important, but for early mid-game accounts, it's really easy to build up like your Rebels or your Imperial Troopers or your Bounty Hunters and start bagging a nice flow of additional Kyrotech, some Zetas, and other, you know, relic stuff on a monthly basis. But if they're going to be replacing it and kind of doing the Naboo raid treatment, or let's not get too much crap to Naboo, the recent generation of raids, where now they kind of want to have these higher relic gates, they don't want to have any more of these lower tiers, so they're kind of pushing us towards this newer era where they want you to have these relic 5, 7, 9s on all these guys. They need to make this clear up front. So I unfortunately can't confirm if this is going to be a permanent change where Forest Moon is just, I guess, set into the sunset, or the moon set. Is there such thing as a moon set? I don't know. Because yeah, this is going to really tick off a lot of people if this gets taken away from us. So I'm going to right now err on the side of caution and just say, okay, this is probably just, they're changing up the schedule. It's not gone forever, right? Right? Oh, again, it'd be easy to clarify this. I guess if it doesn't show up ever again, we'll kind of get our answer. But again, it sucks that things like this should be communicated, because people really care about these bare minimum things that we're out to expect in this game. Speaking of bare minimum, at the bare minimum, I want them to be transparent about the recent ship stuff. Now, I had this little conversation yesterday on stream. About 20% of people had no idea what I was talking about this attack on the Chimaera. Capital Games, you know, just to give a quick brief history lesson, it's only been, you know, 2 weeks or whatever. Punisher 1 comes out, right? Great ship. But it was very evident, like, immediately. Like, again, I could have given it to my 10-year-old sister. She could have beaten Leviathans pretty easily. Hit the auto button, you're probably gonna dismantle it, destroy it, win. Well, CG was quick to come out and say, hey, the Punishing One's overperforming. We gotta investigate it. So this sparked the conversation But then CG, their response after their in-depth investigation was that, you know what? The mirror matches for Leviathan are bad, and we want the TIE Dagger to be the one that people gravitate toward. So they end up buffing the TIE Dagger, which inadvertently, or maybe, I don't know, directly, depending on, I'm not sure what their intention was, made the mirror match the worst thing ever. I think the Leviathan mirror match is the worst thing of all time. I tried to avoid mirror matches, if at all possible. But as you know, they added this clause where, you know, dark side ships can't gain bonus turn meter. Wait a second. That has nothing to do with the punishing one. And this makes the mirror match annoying for Leviathan because now you can't use Scythe Assassin to make coin tosses easier. Now people are doing, you know, funky stuff, you know, starting off with either the Mark 6 Interceptor or they bring in TIE Reaper as a reinforcement. So they made that worse. But the point is, the thing that ended up getting screwed the most at the end of the day, and they never uttered the word once, Chimaera. Chimaera is the one that somehow got the biggest, like, they caught a stray bullet. There's no other better way to put it. They were just a bystander. You know, they're looking at Leviathan mirror matches and punishing one, and somehow Chimaera gets absolutely messed up. We're now basically the Chimaera counter to Leviathan is dead. We already know that, right? That part we already kind of discovered the second they dropped the TIE Dagger buff. It really sucks. But now they put even more salt on the wound. And how long has the Scythe been in the game, right? It was the beginning of 2023. It's been here for a minute at this point, folks. And the other day, they did this. And again, they never, ever uttered the word Chimaera. And there's actually a funny side effect of this too here. But they fixed an issue where allied TIE fighters would gain marked on capital ships other than Executrix. What other Empire ships do you, would you use the TIE fighter in? Oh yeah, the Chimaera! So I hate this whole facade, this whole Trojan horse is probably the more correct term to be using here, people. And this again ties into the overall concept of just poor communication with like something like this as well, the Forest Moon Assault battle. They now basically made the Chimaera, I don't want to say worthless, but it can't gain turn meter against Leviathan, so you know you don't want to really use it. And then you're like, all right, maybe I'll use Chimaera versus the Executor. Well, now the Scythe doesn't even work with the Chimaera anymore. And again, this was just a big Trojan horse to nerf the Chimaera versus all these things because the Chimaera was performing so well. But the thing that bothers me, they took their sweet time to get around to it. Again, Chimaera's been dominating the Leviathan for over a year now. It was dominating other stuff way before the Leviathan too. And I feel like because of their Gary, is incompetency the right word? Want to be nice. Maybe their inability to address things that maybe they want to address. They're like, all right, we got to stop this Chimaera, but we don't want to say the word Chimaera. So we're going to bring in this Trojan horse, the punishing one. And then the only thing that's going to get messed up is the Chimaera and Leviathan mirror matches. This bothers me. If you had a problem with the Chimaera, just say it. Say it, because we can read between the lines. And the other thing I want to point out here, this whole Scythe thing right here. So they wanted the Scythe to stop working with Chimaera. Okay. What if I told you that the Scythe isn't even working with the Executrix anymore? If you don't know the part I'm talking about, it's the Scythe, the unique ability here. Where the heck is it? Is this thing right here? Where is it at? Yes. If the allied capital ship is Executrix at the start of the battle, 2 crewless Imperial TIE fighters would come out, and while an allied Imperial TIE fighter's foresight, they gain mark. So the mark thing no longer works with Chimaera, right? Well, guess what? It doesn't work with Executrix either. And unfortunately, I don't know how things are coded, but I get the impression that the Scythe has a high degree of it gets targeted. It's like it gets targeted so quickly, so it makes it very complicated. So let me show you, for example, we have a 3-star was a punishing one here, right? So let's go ahead, show this. So in their pursuit to let the Trojan horse take full effect and ruin the Chimaera, they broke their game, and this now makes ships even more complicated in the context of Grand Arena, where you have to have 3 ships, and well, the Chimaera kind of got screwed, right? Well, and on top of that, well, it doesn't even work in the appropriate lineup. And let's remind you, this is like not a cheap fleet by any means. This is a conquest unit that requires a legendary and a lot of relic investment. Then you have yourself the TIE Interceptor and TIE Defender, and TIE Defender just got absolutely wrecked. But let me just show you. Oh gosh. You know, just things like this, man. Just things like this. I would say it's been kind of a cruddy week for Capital Games, especially when you consider the fact that I just want to show, yeah, no mark. There's no mark on the TIE Fighters. Luckily, they didn't go for the Scythe in that regard here, but all right, let's go ahead. Bring out TIE Defender here. But as you see, the mark isn't happening. The mark is not happening, and that's the whole point of this lovely ship here. So luckily, we had a good opening run, making some plays happen. I could probably get something up, but yeah, now they're working towards a Scythe, and that's kind of an issue. That's kind of an issue. If only I had foresight giving me marked. Yeah, anyways, I'm not going to run the whole entire battle, but the point just goes to show that, maybe, I don't know, we'll just roll with it right now while I'm chatting here. In their pursuit to try to make things bad for the Chimaera, they ended up making things even bit worse for other fleets out there. I don't know. So people, I just want to put it out there. It's very frustrating that some of these things could be alleviated with communication. It just sometimes it feels like they're trying to pull a fast one on us, right? They're trying to pull a fast one on us. They ruined the Chimaera and they never uttered a word about it. I mean, come on. That seems a little sleazy in my opinion. Just tell us you didn't like the Chimaera. All right, we'll have to eat the pill and just swallow the pill and move on. But it's just like this whole indirect way of addressing this. And the fact that the assault battle things, you know, things like this at the bare minimum, you know, all right, fine, release a Balin. You know, and maybe it's not doing great right away. You know, we're still gathering info, seeing what it's like. You know, we still got to wait a little bit of time. All right. Yeah, your Galactic Legend of Ahsoka Tano. Yeah, kind of steep requirements. 5, 6 marquees, a lot of relic knights. Okay. We see you, Capital Games. But come on, you can't be doing stuff like this where things that people have a bare minimum expectation. I mean, we have low expectations in this game, right? You know, we try not to have too high of expectations for Star Wars Galaxy, but we expect that our Forest Moon stuff is going to work. And if you have a problem with how the meta is, just tell us directly. Don't do this thing where you're walking on glass, you're beating around the bush. Just be straight with us. You had a problem with the Chimaera. You didn't want to say it because people invested so much in the Chimaera, and because of your inability to address this at an appropriate time, we got to pay the price, and you try to sleaze your way out of there. Anyways, that's all I got here for today. You know, on the grand scale of the global, the global stuff that's going on, what's on a 1 through 10, how big of an issue is it? It's probably close to 0. But this is our place to have fun, have a good time, and at the very minimum, let's have some transparency on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to get rid of old assault battles in place of new ones to push people to whale harder, get these newer things? Or are you just a little mistake? Or are you making some scheduling changes? I don't know, people, but one thing I do know, thank you so much for stopping by, spending some time with me here. Would love to hear your thoughts down below. And more importantly, until we meet again, gosh dang, it's great to be in the Empire today. It's great to be in the Empire today. The sun never sets.